Greetings, duelists, and welcome to part 2 of my week 9 deck report, which is on the Elfnote branded Kewl Tune deck. If you haven't seen that profile, I do encourage you to watch it, because without watching that video, this other video would not make as much sense. This video is strictly talking about my experience with the deck in this past weekend, things that I changed prior to the event, stuff that I could have done a little bit differently, and then the most important part, the part that pretty much everybody is probably waiting for, what are the combos? Like, what are the end boards that you're trying to make with this deck? Like, what are the things that you're trying to do with this deck? But yeah, so the first thing I want to bring up is, if you saw the last deck report, we did make one change to the extra deck. Despian Lulu Lilith is now Titaniklad, the Ash Dragon. What influenced me onto this decision was, funnily enough, a deck profile that involved a different deck. It was Jordan Gallagher's branded Dracotail deck that he and Jesse Cotton has been piloting for this season. I will post that video in the description. Shout outs to Jordan Gallagher and congratulations. He just made his YouTube channel. Excellent player, one of the best in Europe. If you want to learn about his Dracotail branded experience, I do encourage you to watch it. And if you are like me and you are testing branded as a hybrid for other decks, you should consider watching that video as well. I will post it in the description. So, not to give away too much from what he was saying, Titaniklad is really good in our deck because we are playing a Deer Servant. There are some combos involving our Dogmatica cards involving this card. There's a lot of cool things, like, for example, Fallen of Albaz during the end phase to fuse with our opponent's board. Considering the fact if we're not synchro locked, because that is important, this deck does synchro lock itself during both players' turns. Just adding your follow up as well, like this, adding Fallen of White for the following turn. These stuff like that. And this is just another level A fusion name. If you use placing Cartesias to fuse for this, you can out Lunalite Liger Dancer. That is one thing that you can do in this deck. Yeah, that was the big change from the extra deck. Everything else is pretty much the same thing. Again, I encourage you to watch the deck profile if you haven't seen it yet. So this was my side deck for the weekend. It was 3 Pancatrops, 3 of each Mosh Army, triple Dark Ruler no more, and triple Book of Eclipse. Shoutouts to one of my opponents that just says that I am a Book of Eclipse junkie, because the last time that we dueled was in 2024 when I was playing Ritual Beast, which, you know, that card was staple in Ritual Beast. So I'm gonna talk about this card first. So I feel like this format is kind of defined already. We kind of know what the top dog decks are at the moment. One deck that has been performing really well, and one of the reasons I did not main deck this card, was Sky Striker. Another deck that was doing fairly well in regionals was Malice. Another reason not to main deck this card. This card is mediocre versus Dracotail as well. So against those matchups, this card is kind of weird. But against the Yomi variants, this card is really strong. Against the Elfnote mirror match, this card is also really strong. And one deck that this card was surprisingly very good for me against, and I did face it this weekend, was Pure Branded. I played against a Pure Branded player. They had their entire row filled of monsters, like all 6 rows, all 5 from the main zone and 1 from the extra deck were all monsters, but none of them had a way to negate this. So on the draw phase, I activated this card. They activated their own Mirror Jade to banish one of their cards to give themselves free space. But besides that, this card pretty much did its job. Exo Sister is another rogue deck to consider. Another reason for this card in my side deck, and this goes to the reason for Dark Ruler no more. This deck has a rough time against Baguska, the Terribly Tired Tapir. So I kind of wanted very good concretes out to it that does not involve my main deck. So that was the main reason for these 6. And I will say I did not regret that choice. I think these 6 were good enough. I think the deck's engine is good enough to break boards. You just need something to help you like beat those boards a little bit more. Same thing with the Mo-Charmies. So I didn't want to deal with variance involving the Mo-Charmies game 1, which is kind of ironic because I lost the redie rule in the tournament I played this past weekend. But again, that is just variance. I don't want to rely on playing these cards in my deck if I lose the die rule. I just want my deck to be as efficient as possible. And it was. Like, I didn't struggle too much on game 1, except for that one branded match. If your deck has an issue with Dimensional Fissure, you pretty much have to play this card. This card is also good because against Radiant Typhoon, this plays on Mandate as well. If you know specifically where Fallen the Virtuous is, or your opponent's Dracotail traps are, you just snipe them immediately with this, and it makes the matchup a lot easier for you. Fun fact, I did play 2 Dracotails this past weekend. I 2-0'd both of them. Pancratos did not come up against any of them. The matchup was just not unfavorable for me. We can talk about that like on a separate video. But yeah, this was mainly here for DeFi. This was here as a pseudo breaker for other cards, but this card cannot out Baguska. That's where the other 6 breakers come in. I did not miss Lightning Storm, I did not miss Duster, I did not miss like other stuff like that. I think this was fine. I thought about playing Ground Collapse or Secret Village or other Floodgate type cards, but in this type of deck, you really don't need Floodgates to win like on turn 1. If they Mo-Charm you, your deck has decent half boards that you can make. But if everything in your deck resolves game 1, you should be fine against your opponent without relying on Floodgates. I also thought about playing Sanctifier in the extra deck, but Sanctifier was just not that needed. Alright, so like I said, so my rounds this past weekend was 2 Dracotails, 1 Malice, and 1 Branded. I 2-0'd both Dracotails and I 2-0'd the Malice player. The Malice player misplayed hard on game 2. We did talk about it later on. But the deck was very solid against them. My loss was to pure Branded. I lost game 3. And even though I just mentioned how great Book of Eclipse was against the matchup, I pretty much misplayed the game, and I couldn't capitalize well on it, and a lot of time was taken into the round because of it. That was completely my fault. I will probably make another video talking about that experience. But yeah. Prior to that tournament, I did test against Vanquish Soul, I did test against Yummy Fiendsmith, I did test against Snake Eye Fire King, even though it's a rogue deck. I kind of just want to see how it fares against rogue decks in general. Shoutouts to all the people that play tested with me. Shoutouts to Fabian Ortiz, One Stop Shop. He did provide me the mats, the sleeves. the Pro Mat sleeves for the weekend, and that was very very helpful and nice of him because the other sleeves that I was using were kind of not favorable for the tournament environment. But yeah, I think that's it involving the deck itself. Let's get to the most important part. Alright, so here's everybody's favorite part, which is the combos. So before building this version of the deck, I'm gonna give a shout out to Spy07. He is one of my testing partners, and we did theorize this deck together. If at first it was just Elfnote, Kewl Tune, that was like 2 months back. I was supposed to profile that on February, but TLDR, I did not have the cards on me, and I kind of wanted to do a live profile of it. And I just had other decks that I kind of wanted to try out first. And I was super busy that month, despite it being the beginning of the season. So the month after that, again, shout out to Spy. He did playtest Kewl Tune Elfnote on tournaments. He did try out some ratios. Me and him were figuring out like the ratios of the deck together. And then a little bit after that, he showed me a branded Elfnote deck involving the Fiendsmith cards. And I quickly arrived to the conclusion that Fiendsmith was not the way. It was gonna conflict with the branded engine a little bit too much. It's not that good going second either. Theo realized it's a crazy card, don't get me wrong. But I felt like I wanted my Kewl Tune normal summons to be better than my Medius normal summons. The Kewl Tune normal summons are really good because if one of them connects and your opponent does not remove the body, like you just start breaking boards with the Kewl Tune cards before going to your Elfnote cards. Besides that, I guess I'll show you. So the first combo is Kewl Tune Mix and Lucina. This is what led me to make this deck in the first place. Let's see what you can do with Kewl Tune Mix and Lucina. You go to Lucina first. So Lucina is going to add us Tinia. This is our draw check. If we get draw on Lockbird, this Tinia is going to continue doing our plays. We're going to normal the Kewl Tune Mix. Kewl Tune Mix is going to add us Q. We're going to synchro away these two, and we're going to make Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon. This bridge into the branded cards was the reason I chose the Kewl Tune engine. Not only that, Kewl Tune has a lot of other cool things that you can do involving your Elfnote cards, no pun intended. But Mix plus Lucina, Mix plus Tinia, Mix plus Fortuna was the reason for the deck. That's why Kewl Tune Mix is at 3 in the deck instead of Reco. Once Blazing Dominion comes in, that ratio is going to be swapped. Reco will be the most prioritized one to be maxing out on. So we do Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon's effect, and that's going to summon us Blazing Cartesia. Remember this Kewl Tune Q that we added? This is a light attribute monster. So with Blazing Cartesia, we're going to fuse away with Q. Those both make Grab with Null. Grab with Null effect, we're going to send the Albion the Branded Dragon. And this is going to give us Fallen the Virtuous. So this is one variation of the combo. There is another variation, but we're going to Tinia. Tinia plays the Elfnote spell. We're going to send Gregory Null. Prior to these combos, I was playing Luluva Lilith, so this was very free value from the Welcome Home. Even if we're playing Titaniklad, I still think this is free value. We're not going to do a lot with this Gregory Null. So we're summoning the Elfnote Power Patron. Those two make Strelitzia. We're going to add Fortuna with the Power Patron. Fortuna Specials, Fortuna Effect. You place the Rhapsodia. Use that to bring back the bird. Bird to make Fortuna level 9. We make the Shenyan. Or, if you don't want to do that, you can use these two and make Omega. So there are like ways to do it. If we go the Shenyan route, we just swap the Strelitzia for Tinia, and in the end phase we get back Ecclesia. So if you notice something, the zone placements are wrong. You kind of want this Shenyan to be in the middle zone, because Tinia's quick effect on your opponent's turn is that you can swap this card with a monster in the center main monster zone. But if you get the idea behind the combo, is you basically have Shenyan here. Tinia is going to swap with Shenyan to snipe a card. The Shenyan, depending on your opponent's board state, this can banish cards from their field and graveyard, like a pseudo Trishula. This is basically Trishula, like in a combo, if you think about it. Ecclesia can spawn like Fallen of White. It can spawn Fallen of Albas. It can spawn the Incredible Ecclesia. You have the Elfnote trap to negate as well. If you choose to bring back Strelitzia can just bring back another monster. And yeah, we are out of Kewl Tune rotation, but we got into rotation for all our other engines. And this Cartesia is also really good in the sense that this is fodder for the Rhapsodia Madness as well. Alright, next combo. So what happens with Reco plus Lucina? Charles to Spy, he's the one who came up with this one. This one is a little bit more risky because it plays into more hand traps a little bit more. And if you get hand trapped on both of them, you don't get to do the bridge. But you try to go Reco first. Reco for mix. Ideally, you don't want to add mix, you want to add a clip. Because if you do get stopped, you can clip into RS on your opponent's turn. And then you have the interruption from Reco, and then you have the interruption from RS. That being said, we're going to summon Lucina. Lucina is going to add us Elfnote Power Patron. We're going to Reco and Power Patron into Trackmaker. We're going to Trackmaker and Elfnote Power Patron. That's going to add us Tinia, and it's going to add us JJ. If you don't care about hand traps, then mix is correct because of JJ. But if you do care about hand traps, then clip is the best approach instead of mix. That being said, we're activating the JJ. We're going to do extra normal summon for mix. Mix is going to add us the Q. And then with these two, you go into your branded route. And you pretty much know what's gonna happen here. But instead of Cartesia, we are summoning the Fallen. This is the Omega hand loop. And now we special Tinia. Tinia into spell. You can use the spell, send for Fortuna. Fortuna for trap card. So you have two different things you can do here. You can JJ Kewl Tune to send the Trackmaker. And summon the mix. And mix and Q make remix. And then you go Q effect. You go Tinia. And then you got back the Ecclesia. And you get Incredible Ecclesia back in the end phase because... Actually, I don't know why we get Ecclesia back in the end phase. Moving on. Yeah, ignore this is here. Let's do this combo again, but we're going to do a different route. So Lucina and Reco, Power Patron and Mix. These two into Trackmaker. We're going to grab Fortuna this time. JJ, Mix, we're going to grab Q. Sending those two, Ecclesia for Cartesia. We're especially Fortuna. The reason we're especially Fortuna here is because we're going to use the Blazing Cartesia to fuse with the Fortuna into the Gravinull. Gravinull, send Albion, Elfnote trap card, bring back the bird. We're going to use JJ, special the mix. We're going to mix and queue into remix. And that is our interface. And now we actually do get the Blazing Cartesia back because we do have Albion in the graveyard and the Gravinull. Oh, now I remember. Ecclesia is in our hand because Gravinull was. Anyway, so that's combo number 3. So what can we do with just Synchro Overtake? Overtake for remix, summon mix, mix for Q. This does not branch us into our branded cards, but look at this line. So with just Synchro Overtake and nothing else, we get to Zalen and Elfnote Trap. And Zalen plus Trap is a lot, like against certain board states. Like, you can flip this Elfnote Trap and then respond with Zalen to whatever your opponent tried to activate. This bypasses a lot of things, even Forbidden Droplet, because most times people don't send trap cards for Forbidden Droplet. They usually send spell cards. And if they don't send a monster, then you can respond like with Clip, for example, and then just chain the Zalen. Just flipping the trap will give you the Zalen negate, so you can just use the trap to negate something else and just bring back like your Elfnote Power Patron. Another thing that's really cool about this interaction is, let's say you did that, right? Well, Elfnote Power Patron can raise its level by 3 because it is in the center of my monster zone. And because this is level 4, you can use tool clip, and that makes the Loudness War. And then you got the rip from Clip, and you get the follow-up from the Elfnote Power Patron. You can grab any of those two, and your opponent tries to do something, you can use the Loudness War, and that can banish Clip, Reco, Mix, or Trackmaker. So, I'd say for just one copy of Synchro Overtake, that is a lot. And post-Blazing Dominion, if we choose to play this version of the deck, then there's going to be a lot more tricks that you can do as well because of Kewl Tune Rotary. Alright, so can we combo with our hand traps? If you saw the deck report, you saw that I was playing like 7 Ghost Girl monsters, and I opted to play more of them. I thought about Ghost Mourner as well. Let me show you one of the main reasons we are playing so many of these Ghost Girls. So for this combo, we're going to do Tinia for Welcome Home. Welcome Home sends the Tinia. We're going to summon the Power Patron. And now we're normal summoning the Ash Blossom. And those two make the Trackmaker. And now we got our Kewl Tune Bridge with our Elfnote cards. We're going Fortuna for Trap. Trap sends Fortuna. We're going to summon the Bird. Bird for Mix. Mix for Q. Normal Q. Q summons Reco. Reco grabs Clip. And we pretty much have all the Kewl Tune rotations with this. Depending on other cards you open with, you could branch out into their branded stuff. But this was basically the basic combo that I thought about on the spot. Alright. So this is another version of the combo. This is the branded bridge. So yeah. So in the last combo, we kept the track maker because we wanted to make Zalen with it. On this combo, instead of prioritizing on Zalen, we just distributed the track maker, and we just went directly through the band to the branded stuff. And I think that one is better in retrospect, because now you have Ecclesia to just funnel out cards against your opponent, and realistically, there is a world where you summon Strelitzia, and you use Strelitzia to make itself level 4, and then you use Remix. And with Remix effect and the downed level Strelitzia, you can make Zalen. So, just remember, these two monsters have level manipulation effects, and those level manipulation effects can make a lot of different synchros on both your turns. So, I played Nadir Servant in my list, and you're probably wondering, are there any combos with Nadir Servant? And yes, there are. Let me show you one with Nadir Servant and Tinia. So we got Tinia into spell card. Spell sends your brick. We're using the Dogmatica monster as the example here because this is one of the 3 main bricks of the deck. It's this, Clip, and Falling of Albas. We're going to add from Power Patron, Lucina effect, bring back Fortuna, Strelitzia, bring those back. You go into Branded. Well, we opted to go for Blazing Cartesia here. We are synchro locked, so it really doesn't matter if you go for Fallen first. The reason we're doing Cartesia first is because we do have the Nadir Servant. You'll see what I mean by that. Fortuna for Trap. Now we activate the Nadir Servant, and that's going to send us Fallen. And then we go Fallen to Lucina, to the Ecclesia. And during the end phase, we're going to use the Rhapsodia. We're going to tribute the Ecclesia for Tinia. And the reason we're doing that is because Ecclesia comes back, and we got Titaniklad to add us our follow-up. And we have our Albion to set the Fallen the Virtuous. And then you have both Cartesia and Ecclesia to grab themselves back to your hand. That's another reason why I really like Blazing Cartesia. It's just a free monster that you just grab back during your end phase. It's free fodder for your trap card. It's fodder for Kewl Tune because this is a tuner monster. This can make other cool things as well. Being a level 4 tuner also helps with the Elfnote cards, just making stuff like changing. But yeah. Now, I got one last replay for you. There are more combos. These are not all the combos that I have with this deck, but we are almost at the 30-minute mark, and I don't want to ramble too much. And I know you guys will want to go and practice with this deck after you're done with this video. Who knows? Maybe you are, maybe you are not. So I'm gonna show you something that did happen in one of my matches. This happened against my Dracotail opponent. My Dracotail opponent had Droll and Ash. They ashed my Synchro Overtake. I did open Synchro Overtake with this hand. So let's check what you can do here. So you go Tinia for Welcome Home. With the Welcome Home, we're sending the Fallen of Albas, and we're summoning the Elfnote Power Patron. You go these two into Strelitzia, and then the Elfnote Power Patron will trigger. So on this instance, I didn't want to grab Lucina. I was facing against an established board, so I grabbed Fortuna. And to grab Fortuna was perfectly fine because that draw just didn't matter anymore. To do Strelitzia, bring back the Parapatron, those two into Ecclesia, and then we go Ecclesia into Fallen, Fallen into our Incredible Ecclesia. Those two made Omega. I did Omega. I think that baited a 5 mana. I don't fully remember if I baited 5 mana with that. But I did Omega. I special the Fortuna for Elfnote Trap. And now we're active with the Nadir Servant. And for those who don't know, this can actually grab from the graveyard. So we're sending Albion, and we grab back the Fallen. And we do the Fallen send Rimbroom. And now we do Elfnote Trap, send the Fallen, bring back the Tinia. With the Ecclesia comes back, and since we're in the end phase, the Albion sets, and then the Ecclesia someone grabs herself back. And that was the play I did. I think my opponent had 2 set Rahus by the end of it, and Tinia just ended up ripping like whatever his top deck was. So yeah, that's kind of it for now. I hope you found this informative to your liking and understanding. I know I rambled a little bit and I was not unsure of all my replays. Big forgiveness for that. So let me know if you guys are interested in this deck a little bit more. I do have more combos that I can show you guys. I am going to update this deck for Blazing Dominion, so stay tuned for that as well. But yeah, until then, keep practicing and keep